What do you think about birds of a feather? Folake and Gina are best pals with similar interests, character, and lifestyle. Sleeping with all kinds of men on the street is what they do for a living, although it doesn't come that easy, especially when it is against the law. And if prostitution is a dirty job for women, then what do we call a dirty job for men? Cybercrime, or the popular nickname Yahoo Boys. Nonso is a Yahoo boy, but the job seems not to be paying these days as clients are becoming wiser. And to make matters amusing, Folake and Nonso are neighbors, but the neighborhood isn't complete without good people around. Elizabeth is not just a good Christian, but a believer in Christ. The welfare and preaching the good news to her neighbors is her priority. It also wasn't easy for Elizabeth with the kind of neighbors she has, but she wouldn't give up. Nonso has a girlfriend, Iris. He wouldn't stop flaunting her to whomever cares to see. His arrogant attitude irritates Folaka, and aside from that, they live as cats and rats within the compound. On the flip side, Folake also brings her clients home. Chief Obi is one of her biggest clients. Chief Obi likes her so much that he promised to buy her a house and a car, if only she could give him a child. Her business also irritates Nonso, but how about minding his own business? Nonso decided to expose her affairs with other men. Chief Obi never knew that he had been frolicking with a sex worker. Folake had just lost an expensive relationship with her client. Now she needs to find a way to fix the damages when Elizabeth came knocking to make peace. But her presence was becoming tiring not only to Folake, but also to Nonso, who thinks that she is overstepping her boundaries. Nonso seems to be one of the few Yahoo boys who is so much in love with a girl, but Iris wouldn't let him breathe with her extravagant lifestyle, and even though he is getting tired of everything, he still assures her of a better tomorrow when he hits big. But can a woman date a Yahoo boy and still expect him to be loyal? Even though Iris wasn't happy with him, she couldn't also confront him. Folake wouldn't stop talking about her missed opportunity that Nonso ruined. At least she could sell the car and use the money to settle herself and leave the street for good. But Gina was thinking something else. She's beginning to like Nonso. What better response should you be expecting from a sex worker? Nonso also has a friend, Arnold. Arnold happens to be a responsible guy, and that's why Nonso pours out his worries to him for advice, especially when it comes to Iris' unreasonable demands. Arnold thinks that Iris doesn't deserve him, and as a matter of fact, he wouldn't stop talking about how lucky he is with the kind of decent lady he is blessed with. Nonso could also attest to the fact that she's different from other ladies. Nonso isn't still different from other Yahoo boys when it comes to sleeping with all kinds of girls. Folake knew her time would come for revenge, and it came as soon as expected. She called Iris to run along to her boyfriend's house. Iris believed what her boyfriend was capable of. She was already in his house before they could even start anything. Iris doesn't mind turning the whole apartment down to prove that she is the madam of the house. It wasn't funny any longer with her actions, as Nonso had to kneel down in public for her forgiveness when Folake saw him. Folake was set to escalate his escapades with every kind of woman he brings home. Iris couldn't bear it anymore with all she heard and had to leave. At least it's a defense and attack draw game now. One fateful night, Elizabeth was in labor. She has no husband or even relatives around she could call to help her out, and how she got pregnant was still a mystery. Nonso and Folake were the only people she knew and also confided in, but to no avail were her neighbors reachable. Nonso and Folake came into her apartment that night to find her in a pool of blood. I wonder how many women would survive in such a condition. Nonso and Folake were in such a perplexed state at the moment, and their only option was to call a nurse. But unfortunately, they lost her due to the severe bleeding. Sometimes, this is when the dead need the living to speak up for them. Nonso couldn't forgive himself for having ignored her when she needed him the most. Nor could Folake, who saw the deceased as the only one who still reminds her that Jesus still loves her. They both have to keep their differences aside now and help the poor child to locate the family or the orphanage home. But first they need a police report. They went from one orphanage home to another, but it was becoming more difficult as they tried to find a suitable home for the poor baby. Something seems to be changing now. They think the baby doesn't deserve an orphanage home after all Elizabeth did for them when she was alive. But the whole idea of taking responsibility for the baby is becoming laughable as Arnold thinks his friend is getting himself into a mess without knowing. And to make matters interesting, Arnold can't stop citing his perfect relationship as an example and why Nonso should follow his footsteps for a better life. Nonso also can't wait to see this God-given and ambitious lady of his friend who's studying in the university. The same goes with Folake and her friend. Gina is surprised that her friend who's a sex worker turned a mother overnight. Folake was also getting frustrated with the sudden turn of events when Nonso came in with diapers. Gina knew she had already lost a friend. Folake wouldn't take this anymore as it's beginning to affect her business. Regardless of how frustrating Folake may be now, Nonso was still interested in the baby's welfare, and all he wants now is her financial support. They were debating on the issue when they found out that they were both broke, and they ended up mocking each other for their inability to make good money from their illegal business. And what do you say about time decides who you meet in life? Your heart decides who you want in your life, and your behavior decides who stays in your life. Nonso and Folake unintendedly found themselves sacrificing their lifestyles by living as couples for the sake of a child. It's been weeks now, and Iris hasn't heard from her man who would usually come crawling at her feet. She came to make amends this time with him when she saw something she never saw coming. She needed an explanation. But what do you say about listening to outsiders about your partner? Although everything played out to be true, let's say that life happened. Iris was willing to manage the situation, but at the very moment, she knew she had lost his attention for her. Nonso's love for the child is becoming like that of a father to his daughter. Iris doesn't seem to want to fight for her man back. I guess she never loved him. Folake was still upset about the humiliation Iris gave her before leaving. Nonso is willing to do anything to bring back that smile. At this point, they both had the best of them until they realized themselves in a different breadth. As the day went by, things were not getting easy, especially for Nonso, whose house rent was already due. Folake assured him that things will be fine, only for her to go back to her old ways just to raise money for him and the baby. Once in a lifetime did Nonso felt emotional for her and her kind of job. Folake also was scared of losing him, so she promised him never to go back into prostitution again. I guess they were in love until Arnold walked in. He wasn't happy that his friend was finally getting trapped by a harlot, all in the name of raising a child. Folake was eavesdropping. She thinks Arnold is right. Nonso wanted to let her know that he is not better than her. So who is he to judge her? Meanwhile, Chief Obi still has his eyes on Folake. He wants Chica, her friend who introduced him to her, to talk to her, and he is willing to give her more than a car if only she can come back. Chica wants Folake to seize the opportunity and accept him back. You shouldn't be surprised to get tempted once you're willing to change. Folake doesn't see herself going back into such again. They were talking when Nonso and his friend bumped into them. Surprisingly, Chica is Arnold's girlfriend. She is the one and only girl he can't stop speaking highly of. As a matter of fact, she was supposed to be in school studying, not knowing that she is the chief hooker of all sex workers. So, what do you say again about not criticizing what you can't understand? At least it's better to be yourself and let love find you than faking it. It's been 3 years now, and they lived like a happy family when someone came knocking. The woman introduced herself as a relative of the late Elizabeth. All these while she has been in Canada until she received the news recently that her sister died years back. And to wrap it up, she gave Nonso and Folake the check of 7 million naira for every expense and stress in raising her niece. She also believes that her niece was in good hands while she went back to Canada. And it happens that parenthood isn't defined by genes or blood, but by a miracle. So when it comes to you, you should take it.
Thanks for watching. Please comment your thoughts and also like and share this video for more super amazing videos that we are bringing to you. And if you're watching from our YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and turn on your notification for more. Thank you.